specific to the coronavirus. These programs are being implemented at the same time as they're being stood up by our partners while delivering service to our clients. Starting tomorrow, all partners are required to report their accomplishments for the month of July. This will begin a second phase of our administration work for the city to monitor our partners and determine if they are in compliance, but more importantly, are they being effective in serving our residents. Based on our assessment, we will likely do an intensive second round of trainings as well as one-on-one technical assistance with other partners to make sure these programs are working as intended. The goal is that by September 14th, when the August reports are due, that our partners are operating at full capacity. In total, the city has funded nearly $18 million in programming, and this is in addition to a regular $30 million that we receive from the federal government every year in funding those programs as well. The city funded programs across three needs: basic needs, rental assistance, and homeless special needs. Together, over the course of the next year, all of these needs and programs funded under these needs will reach up to 84,000 households in the city of Cleveland. In turn, so basic needs includes programming that does food assistance to seniors, and referral services to help navigate other resources that residents can tap into in order to meet their immediate needs. The goal is that we're going to serve 60,000 households, and we can see from partial reports that have already been submitted that programs across a select number of funders have already benefited 1,000 households. We'll see that number increase as the reports that are due tomorrow. The majority of those assisted have been impacted by the coronavirus by loss of income, being furloughed or unemployed, as well as significant challenges around maintaining employment due to child care issues. Also, a critical focus is eviction. We're working to prevent eviction since evictions directly impact the county and city's homelessness efforts. Our referral services are looking to identify those who are facing eviction and who need rental assistance. We're also embedding one of our partners within the housing court, who's a legal aid society of Cleveland, and we're hoping that can provide an avenue for residents to get assistance. We're also funding rental assistance, which is a major component of all our funding. We're spending $11.3 million on this effort to provide short-term and long-term assistance to residents impacted by the coronavirus in order to keep them in their homes, especially those who are facing eviction. We have two partners working on the rental assistance program, CHN Housing Partners and Eden Inc. Together they're going to work and try and assist 8,000 households over the next year in order to maintain their housing. On July 1st, these programs begun accepting applications and have started the process of working with clients to determine their eligibility and work with their landlords to pay current rent due as well as any arrearages resulting from financial hardships from the coronavirus. While accepting applications, CHN and Eden have been bringing on staff to meet the scope and need of these new programs, and by the end of next week, CHN should meet their goal of having 24 dedicated staff working on the rental assistance program. The rental assistance program has seen over 1,400 applications being submitted, and our partners are working to process these applications as we speak. Clients are stating that clients are starting to see assistance going out to them as of last week. The goal is to have a 3-week turnaround in processing these applications, and clients need to be able to provide all the complete documentation in order to be determined eligible. And we're hoping to troubleshoot issues around this so that we can start seeing the programs fully implemented in the month of September. Finally, under special needs, which we're focusing on homelessness, in partnership with the county, we support the continuum of care that addresses those who are homeless in our community. The city has funded $2.1 million to ensure that we can continue to support the 6,000 clients that enter continuum of care in a typical year. Should evictions rise, our community will need to ensure that the continuum of care can absorb and serve those clients effectively and safely, and as well as make the experience of homelessness temporary. Thank you.
Good morning, Cleveland. I'm Public Safety Director Kerry Howard. I'm going to speak with you about the the COVID crisis and the steps that we have been taking to combat this pandemic. As you know, under the leadership of Mayor Jackson and Governor DeWine, significant steps have been taken to combat COVID. In July, we passed legislation to regulate businesses and individuals with regard to how they carry themselves in light of the COVID pandemic. The governor has added extra liquor controls to help reduce the potential exposure of citizens to COVID, and that has been of great help. We have been out every weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, around the district with a COVID task force comprised of members of the Cleveland Police Department, members of the Cleveland Department of Health, myself, members of the Cleveland Fire Department, and State Liquor Control. We have gone out to each district, looking at businesses, restaurants, bars, educating people on the importance of wearing a face mask, social distancing. It's been a great delight to see that many have taken affirmative steps to combat COVID by placing plexiglass barriers in their establishments, maximum occupancy of the patrons that they serve. Many facilitate masks to the patrons as they come in. They require the wearing of masks while people are congregating and speaking and engaging with each other. They ensure that there is compliance with the COVID safeguards, the wearing of the mask, the social distancing, unless you're eating or drinking, you should have a mask. You must have a mask on. We have been out to the 1st, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th district, and I know that there have been some who have said that it seems as if establishments of color are being targeted. I can tell you that is absolutely not true. That we are engaging with all of the businesses in the district. For folks who seek questions or help with their floor plan, we are helping them to develop their floor plan and moving their establishment around and making sure that the posting requirements are up. For some who have been difficult, citations have been issued, with the first citation being a $1,000 citation. This is after receiving a warning, and then every citation thereafter being $3,000. The Ohio Liquor Commission has begun to conduct hearings on these citations and have shown that they are taking the steps to combat COVID very seriously. What we need now is to have the mass gatherings at homes and parks and street parties to be alleviated. We need to make sure that that is not happening. People can get together in groups of 10 or less, but they have to engage with social distancing and they need to wear their masks. We have seen our daily COVID numbers drop from triple digits to double digits because of the efforts being taken by citizens around the greater Cleveland area, and we can drop that number even more if everyone does their part. I've said it before, combating COVID is not something that the police or public safety can do. We need the help of individuals and businesses to make sure that we work to drop this number. I've also said it before that there is no acceptable amount of loss. We stand by that. We need this to be taken very seriously. This is a pandemic that we need to get under control. And as we go into the flu season, it may have the potential to become worse, and we need to prepare for that. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Williams.
Well, good morning. This morning I'm going to touch on 3 things: violent crime enforcement in the city of Cleveland. I'm also going to talk about Operation Legend, which you know started a few weeks ago with our federal, state, and local partners. And then I'm going to end with an update on the violent protest that took place in the city on May 30th. Violent crime in the city, as a lot of you folks know, has been reported, is up with the exception of rape, which we are glad to hear. Homicides are up about 24% compared to the same time period in 2019, and up about 8% compared to the same time period in 2018. Our robberies are up about 12% overall in the city, and then our felonious assaults, meaning assaults that involve weapons and hands, are up overall about 15%, but felonious assaults with weapons, which we concentrate on a daily basis, are up about 40% in the city. Most of our property crimes, burglaries, our GTMVs, our aggravated burglaries and B&Es are down for the most part. GTMVs are up about 2% overall in the city compared to last year. And the rest of our crime numbers are kind of steady. To combat violent crime, again, we started a partnership with the federal government, with our state folks and our county folks, called Operation Legend a few weeks ago, and that operation is bearing fruit as we speak. Currently, is not fully staffed at this time. All of our partners, including the City of Cleveland Division of Police, are working towards making sure we get that staffing in place here real soon. But even with the staffing that's available to them now, they're having tremendous success out there in combating violent crime. So we expect to see those numbers as far as robberies and shootings and homicides start to go down here over the next couple of weeks and the next few months. The last thing I want to talk about, kind of give an update on, are the protest activities, the violent protests that happened here in the city on May 30th. As you know, the county prosecutor and other partners released a statement yesterday with the indictment of 10 individuals on felony charges related to May 30th, as well as the former indictments on the federal side of 2 individuals from the state of Pennsylvania. And as you know, that evening, when the events occurred here in the city, the Division of Police and its other partners arrested almost 100 folks that night. And then in a couple weeks after that, another 24 folks were arrested for various charges here within the city. The thing here is that we're not going to stop looking for folks that created destruction and havoc and damage to property, as well as assaults here in the city on that day. The prosecutor's office and our other partners released over 140 that we can positively see faces and other identifying characteristics in those photos that we pushed out yesterday, and we want to make sure we get those folks into custody and hold them accountable for their actions on May 30th. If anybody knows anybody that's on that list of over 140 individuals, those photos that are out there, you can call Crime Stoppers at 25-CRIME, that's 25-CRIME, or you can call the Division of Police 621-1234 and pass that information along so that we can get these folks off the streets. That's the end of my update. Now I'm going to turn it over to Director Dumas from Finance.
Good morning. To identify these times as unprecedented and unparalleled is probably the understatement of all times. We've never seen a situation like this and never had to kind of monitor and survive in this situation financially. As we respond to the national and global pandemic, the City of Cleveland, just as the state of Ohio and the nation and the world, continues to be under a shelter-in-place orders, all of which significantly adversely affect our local economy and our general fund operating budget. Many businesses, particularly smaller businesses, have closed or downsized in staff and operating hours to meet state and local mandates. Our entertainment events, as many of you well know, and conferences and sporting events have all been canceled for fiscal 2020. And we're hopeful, of course, that those items and activities will return in 2021. The projections and assumptions that we provide for financial projections are tied to the exact moment in time in which the conversation is taking place, as the environment, local, national, and global, could change based on the challenges of the pandemic. We've seen a decline in almost every revenue source. The ones that should be highlighted are entertainment and hospitality taxes, which are admission taxes, hotel motel bed taxes, rental car taxes, and parking taxes. And of course, that's due to the cancellation of events. At the beginning of this fiscal year, we projected approximately $40 million as receipts in those areas. We're probably going to bring in about 50% of that. Income. Our challenges continue to be some referendums around withholding taxes that we intend to meet head on, and of course, instability in particularly our small business